The moment I saw my 65 years old mom in an old charity house, everything inside me shattered. Welcome back to my new story.
The moment I saw my 65-year-old mom in that charity home, wearing old, wrinkled clothes, sitting on a broken chair with tears running down her face, everything inside me broke. My name is Alina Quinn. I've built my life around control, structure, and independence. I run my own business and manage things on my own terms. My schedule is always packed, moving from one city to another, closing deals, and building the empire I once only dreamed of. Last week, I had just returned from a long business trip. I was exhausted, but there was one thing I always tried to do whenever I came back home. I visited a local charity home for elderly people. It wasn't something I talked about much. I just did it, quietly. Donations, conversations, or sometimes just sitting with them for a while. It felt grounding. But that day, something felt different the moment I stepped inside. The air felt heavier, quieter. I greeted the staff, handed over the donation, and slowly walked through the hall, my eyes casually scanning the room the way they always did. And then, I saw her. At first, I froze. My mind refused to accept what my eyes were seeing. She was sitting in the corner, slightly hunched, wearing simple, worn-out clothes that didn't even look like something she would ever own. Her hands were resting on her lap, trembling slightly. Her head was lowered, and she was crying. I stood there for a few seconds, completely still, trying to convince myself I was mistaken. This isn't her. It can't be. But something pulled me forward. Step by step, I walked closer. And then she looked up. Our eyes met. And in that moment, everything inside me shattered. Mom? My voice came out weaker than I expected. She stared at me, as if she couldn't believe it either. For a second, she didn't react. And then suddenly, her eyes filled up even more, and she tried to wipe her tears quickly. Alina? That was it. I dropped my bag and rushed toward her, kneeling in front of her chair, holding her hands. They were cold. So cold. What are you doing here? I asked, my voice shaking. Why are you here? What happened? She didn't answer immediately. Her lips trembled, but no words came out. I could feel her grip tightening around my hands. Mom, please, talk to me. She looked away for a moment, as if she was trying to gather herself, but instead more tears slipped down her face. They said, she whispered, her voice breaking. They said this would be better for me. I felt a strange heaviness in my chest. Who said that? She didn't respond, just silence. Mom, who? She closed her eyes for a second, and then finally, in a voice so weak I almost didn't hear it. Your brother and his wife. Everything went quiet. For a moment, I thought I misheard her. My brother? What do you mean? She shook her head slightly, struggling to speak. They took everything, she said slowly. The house, your father's house, all of it. I felt my grip tighten. What do you mean they took it? That house is yours. They had papers, she said, her words uneven. They said it's theirs now. The lawyer, he confirmed it. I didn't understand anything. She wiped her tears again, but they wouldn't stop. They said they can't afford me anymore. They said this place is better for me. I felt something rising inside me. Anger, confusion, disbelief. Then why didn't you call me? I asked, my voice slightly louder now. She looked at me helplessly. They took my phone, she said. I don't have your number. I didn't know how to reach you. That hit me harder than everything else. How long have you been here? She looked down again. A month. A month. And no one told me. No one. I stared at her, trying to process everything, but nothing was making sense anymore. Not a single thing. I gently wiped the tears from her face, trying to hold myself together even though everything inside me felt like it was falling apart. It's okay, I said softly, even though I didn't feel okay at all. I'm here now. She looked at me like she wanted to believe that, but something in her eyes still carried fear. Not just pain. Fear. I held her hands a little tighter. That house is yours, I said firmly. Dad left it for you. No one can just take it like that. She didn't respond. Maybe because she had already been told the opposite too many times. Mom, look at me, I said, waiting until she slowly raised her eyes. I'm not going to let this stay like this. I promise. For the first time since I saw her, I noticed something change in her expression. Not relief, but a small, fragile hope. I took out my phone immediately. There was only one person I needed to call. My husband. He had been handling legal cases like this for years. Hey, I said as soon as he picked up. I need you to check something, urgently. I briefly explained the situation, trying to keep my voice steady. There was a pause on the other end. Send me whatever details you have, he said. I'll start checking right now. I need answers, I replied quietly. You'll get them, he said before ending the call. That same evening, I took my mom with me. I wasn't leaving her there, not even for another hour. When we reached home, I helped her inside and made her sit on the couch. Sit here, Mom, I said softly. She nodded but didn't look at me. I brought her some water, but she just held the glass without drinking. That silence, it felt heavy. I sat beside her. I'm here now, I said. She didn't reply. A tear slowly rolled down her face. That night she barely spoke, barely ate, and I didn't force her. Some pain doesn't come out in words. The next morning I drove to the house that was supposed to still be hers. But I didn't go inside. I just stood outside, looking at it from a distance. Something felt off. It didn't feel like a home anymore. While I was standing there, one of the neighbors approached me. Are you Alina? He asked. I nodded. I thought so, he said. We were wondering when you'd come. What do you mean? I asked. He glanced at the house before speaking again. After your mother left, things changed here. My attention sharpened instantly. What kind of things? He hesitated for a moment. Late-night parties, he said. Music, noise, almost every other night. I frowned. That's not normal for this place. He nodded. And not just that, he continued. Different people started showing up. Not neighbors, not relatives. Some looked like property dealers, always talking outside, measuring things, discussing prices. My chest tightened. And your brother, he added, lowering his voice. He kept saying they won't be here for long. A strange chill ran through me. What did he say exactly? That they're planning to sell the house, he replied. Move to another country. That didn't sit right. Not even a little. "And my mom?" I asked. His expression changed. "They told everyone she's living with you," he said. "That she's fine." I didn't respond, because in that moment, everything started connecting in my head. And just then, my phone rang. It was my husband. I answered immediately. "I checked everything," he said. I held my breath. "And?" "You were right." My heart started pounding. "The house is still legally in your mother's name." I looked at the house again. "But," he continued, "there's more." My grip tightened around the phone. "The documents your brother used? They're fake." I didn't say anything. "They created forged ownership papers," he continued. "And the lawyer who verified them? He's involved too." A deep silence filled my mind. "They planned this," he added, "from the start." My jaw tightened. "They were going to sell the house," he said. "Leave your mother there and disappear." They knew she couldn't fight back. No phone, no support, nothing. If you hadn't found her in time, they probably would have succeeded. I exhaled slowly, but this time there was no confusion left, only clarity, and something else rising inside me. Not anger, not yet. Something colder, more controlled. "And there's something else." My husband's voice was heavy over the line. "What?" I asked, my grip tightening on the phone. "They've already finalized a deal," he said. "They're planning to sell the house tomorrow." For a moment, I said nothing. I just watched the horizon, feeling the cold clarity settle in. Then I took a slow breath. "Let them," I said calmly. There was a pause on the other side. "You're sure?" he asked. "Yes," I replied. "Let them do exactly what they planned." The next day we went there together, me, my husband, and my mom. She walked beside me quietly, holding my hand. She hadn't said much since yesterday, but I could feel her grip tighten slightly as we got closer to the house. Inside, everything was already set. A few men were standing there, papers on the table, voices low, discussing numbers. My brother and his wife were there too, smiling, like nothing had ever happened. The moment they saw us, their faces changed. Shock. Pure, unfiltered shock. "You, what are you doing here?" my brother said, stepping forward. His wife quickly added, "We can explain." I didn't let her finish. I walked straight toward him, and before he could say another word, I slapped him. The sound echoed in the room. Everyone went silent. "You left your own mother helpless," I said, my voice steady but lethal. "At her age, you took her home, her last sanctuary, and threw her away like she meant nothing." He looked stunned. His wife stepped forward again, her voice desperate. "That property is ours," she said quickly. "We have documents." "Really?" my husband said, stepping in. He placed a heavy file on the table. "Then maybe you should look at the real ones." The room shifted. The men standing there started looking at each other, confused. My brother's face turned a ghostly pale. "What is this?" he stammered. "Proof," my husband replied calmly. "Proof that everything you used was a forgery." Silence filled the room. No one spoke. My mom was standing slightly behind me. She didn't say a word. She just stood there, watching the downfall of the son she once loved, like a statue. Then the door opened. Police officers walked in. My brother turned pale, and his wife stepped back, trembling. "This can't be happening," she whispered. "It already is," I said. They were taken away right there. Fraud, property abuse, forgery. Even the lawyer who helped them was arrested later. And just like that, everything they planned collapsed. A week later, I was sitting beside my mom, holding her hand. She looked at me with her tired eyes and said, "Alina, it wouldn't hurt this much if they had only taken the house. If they had asked, I would have given it to them myself." Her voice began to shake. "But what hurts the most is that my own son did this to me. The son I raised. The son I sacrificed my whole life for." Tears rolled down her face. I moved closer and hugged her tightly. "Everything will get better," I whispered. Even though I knew some pain doesn't leave that easily.